Welcome. Step inside and leave the noise of the public square behind you. You have just crossed the threshold of a sacred, insulated space. This is not a place for performance, and you are no longer required to carry the heavy weight of an identity you didn't write. Right here, your atmosphere is secure. Your soul is permitted to breathe, and the blueprint of your true divine essence is ready to be uncovered. Take a deep breath, pull up a chair, the porch is officially secure, and your sanctuary is ready. Welcome home. Hello everyone, and welcome to the porch. Legacy Visionaries. Tonight we are mapping what I call the JAHWAR identity. Now, I need you to understand something absolutely critical right out of the gate. I am not talking about myself. In its original linguistic roots, the word JAHWAR literally means jewel. It means the core essence. It represents the precious, uncrushable, divine matter that the sovereign architect placed inside of you before the foundation of the world. When I tell you that you must uncover your JAHWAR identity, I am pleading with you to uncover the jewel buried beneath the heavy rubble of your conditioning. We are here to uncover your divine essence, the brilliant diamond identity that the public square has been trying to bury under the exhaustion of the world. When you insulate your atmosphere, you aren't just protecting your ego. You are protecting the sacred jewel God placed inside your tabernacle. There is an old ancient Yoruba proverb that says, "He who does not know his family story cannot know his own destiny." This speaks directly to auditing the generational narrative, separating the true legacy from the structural traps. But let me ask you an important question. What happens when the story you were handed by your lineage was never meant to liberate you? What happens when the identity you are wearing was actually engineered by the public square to keep you compliant, predictable, codependent, and trapped in terminal spiritual poverty? The Passion Translation of Galatians 4 verse 7 drops a radical sovereign blueprint. It declares, "Now we are no longer living as slaves under the law, but we are God's true children. And since we are His legitimate children, we are now heirs of all that He possesses." When I say the word slave, I need you to break completely out of the historical box. This is not just a conversation about the transatlantic slave trade or the physical bondage of Black history. I need your mind to think deeper tonight. Slavery, at its core, is any system where your identity, your time, your finances, and your thoughts are owned, managed, and dictated by an outside master. If you cannot make a move without checking the temperature of public opinion, you are in bondage. If your peace depends on a corporate structure or a toxic relationship dynamic, you are wearing chains. If you are living on autopilot, driven by unexamined trauma, you are enslaved to a script you didn't write. Transitioning from a slave to a legitimate wealthy heir requires a total demolition of that inherited conditioning. It demands that you build an unshakable fortress around your mind. Welcome to the shift. Before we dive into the deep application of this blueprint, I need to take you back for a moment. Over the last 4 episodes, we have walked a heavy, necessary, and agonizing path together. We started with the awakening, where we recognized the automatic chaos of living on autopilot. We stood in the thought altar, choosing to execute a bold, high-placed demolition on the mindsets that kept us captive. From that altar, we were taken directly into the oil press. We felt the suffocating environmental and spiritual pressure designed to extract our value. We endured the curative crush, that intense internal crisis that felt like absolute destruction, but was actually engineered to press out our purest essence. And because we survived the press, last week during the hidden shift, we finally felt the biological reality of somatic secession, our very nervous systems staging a literal walkout against the environments our souls had already outgrown. But as these truths were breaking forth, I realized something critical. You cannot navigate a new territory with an old language. You cannot build a sovereign estate using the vocabulary of the prison house. If you keep using the language of the public square, you'll remain trapped in spiritual poverty. That's why these key terms and definitions exist. They weren't formulated in a sterile academic library, and they certainly weren't manufactured for social media algorithms. Every single word in our lexicon was birthed out of the raw physical and spiritual necessity. I had to develop this language because my spirit and my biology were experiencing things that standard English simply didn't have the metaphoric depth to translate. When your nervous system is rewiring under the pressure of a divine calling, you don't just need a cliche encouragement. You need the technical accuracy of synaptogenesis. You need to know that your brain is physically reshaping its structure to match your destiny. These words were meticulously chiseled out in the soul seat, that internal command center where my identity, my volition, and my divine connection intersect to govern my reality. In that quiet, sacred space, completely insulated from the loud, bankrupt opinions of the public square, the sovereign architect began downloading the exact coordinates for our spiritual enrichment. I sat in that soul seat, wrestled with the tremendous weight of the pressure, and allowed the Holy Spirit to give vocabulary to our metamorphosis. I built this dictionary so that when you sit on this porch, you have an unshakable linguistic scaffolding to hold your weight while you rebuild your life. So tonight, as we unpack the jewel inside of you, do not just listen to the words. Let them anchor deep into your own soul seat, because the language we speak tonight is the exclusive language of your liberation. Legacy visionaries, hear my heart tonight. This is not entertainment. This is not a passive Sunday lecture designed to help you accumulate intellectual vanity. This is a deliverance ministry of your mind. If you don't actively, aggressively apply what you're hearing on this porch, you'll leave here and accidentally rebuild the very prison Christ died to free you from. We are not just expanding your vocabulary. We are initiating an entire movement. In our higher curriculum, we often talk about the necessity of a modern Rosetta Stone, a completely new universal language designed to decode human transformation and reconstruct the mind. You are witnessing the first stones of that monument being laid right now on this porch. And a language is meant to be spoken, lived, and executed. Let's look at the blueprint. Picture this scene in the movie of your life. You walk into your workplace, a business meeting, or a chaotic family gathering. The atmosphere is thick with offense, gossip, and unexamined trauma. People are projecting their limitations, their fears, and their brokenness directly onto you. In the past, you would have absorbed that energy. But in this scene, the moment that noise hits your space, your golden firewall activates. You look them in the eye, you speak with absolute kindness, but internally, your system completely rejects the data. You choose to stop being an emotional thermometer that merely registers everyone else's chaotic temperature, and you become the sovereign thermostat that dictates your own climate. When the trauma hits the shield, you tell your soul, that does not belong to my lineage. You insulate the sovereign territory God gave you. Remember, in a covenant community, we carry one another's burdens, but we do not absorb their brokenness. Empathy says, I see your pain, and I'm standing on the porch keeping watch with you to help you navigate it. But absorption says, I'll take your chaos into my own house and let it break my architect. Your firewall doesn't keep love from going out. It keeps unauthorized, unregulated trauma from coming in and destabilizing your sanctuary. To serve the community, we must remain structurally sound. Now look at the next scene. Think about a moment where you are standing before a massive, destiny-defining decision for your business, your family, or your calling. The old version of you would have spent weeks calling a committee of friends, polling the crowd, and begging for validation from people who are comfortable dying in Egypt. But look at the table. In this scene, the committee has been permanently dismissed. The chairs are empty. It's just you, the soul seat, and the sovereign architect. Application looks like this. You stop polling the crowd to validate what God told you in secret. Some of you are stalling your destiny because you are waiting for a committee vote from people who don't even possess a passport to the realm you are called to build. You must align strictly with the sovereign architect. When you make a decision based on divine instruction, you don't explain it, you don't defend it, and you don't apologize for it to anyone. You simply execute it. And finally, we arrive at the most painful scene in the film, structural amputation. This is where the knife meets the wood. You're looking at a relationship, a business contract, or an old habit that carried you through your early years. It served its purpose. It was good scaffolding for that specific season. But now you've grown. The monument of your destiny is rising, and that rotting, unexamined wood is beginning to pull the stone down. Application means looking at that scaffolding of your life and realizing it can no longer support your structural weight. You cannot carry dead weight into a living legacy. You don't scream at the wood, you don't hate it, but with tears in your eyes and fire in your soul, you execute the clean cut. You let it fall away, not because you hate what is behind you, but because you fiercely protect the jewel that is ahead of you. You cut away the decay so the rest of your body can live and build an estate. I need you to feel the tug of this weight in your chest tonight. Do not just take notes on the porch. Take action. Apply this to your marriage. Apply it to your business. Apply it to your internal narrative. Because when you choose to walk in autonomy, you create an infectious sanctuary of freedom for every single soul that crosses your path. You become the living blueprint. Now, let's take these three sovereign actions, your insulation, your alignment, and your amputation, and subject them to the supreme spiritual law of Galatians 4:7. The Passion Translation drops a legal reality that should shake your foundation. It declares, now we are no longer living as slaves under the law, but we are God's true children. And since we are His legitimate children, we are now heirs of all that He possesses. Legacy visionaries, I need you to understand the absolute legal and biological gravity of this structural shift. Under ancient Roman and Hebrew adoption laws, a slave could live in the house, work the ground, and eat the bread, but they had zero legal identity. They could be managed, traded, manipulated, and broken by external forces because they possessed no inheritance. They lived in terminal systemic dependency. They were spiritually and legally bankrupt. But the very microsecond a child was legally validated as an heir, the entire landscape changed. Two things happened instantly. One, their past debts were permanently expunged. And two, they were clothed in the absolute authority of the Father's name. They were instantly catapulted into spiritual enrichment, endowed with a sovereign wealth that the public square could neither give nor take away. When you practice identity insulation, you're not just setting boundaries, you are legally enforcing your status as an heir. A slave has to listen to the chaos of the public square, but an heir only answers to the monarch. When you practice autocratic alignment, you are operating in your true spiritual wealth. You are signing kingdom checks on an external account funded directly by the sovereign architect. And when you execute a structural amputation, you're cleansing the estate. You're declaring that nothing unholy, nothing toxic, and nothing small-minded is legally permitted to occupy the territory of the king. Your autonomy is not a luxury, family. It's your legal standing as a legitimate child of the Most High God. Act like an heir. Guard the estate. But I'm required to speak directly to the visionary who chooses to play double agent with their destiny. Let me state the obvious. Because the cost of your hesitation is catastrophic spiritual poverty, if you refuse identity insulation, you're actively choosing to let your mind become a public dumping ground. Your soul will constantly fracture and live in terminal bankruptcy because you're trying to build a divine monument using the cheap, toxic opinions of people who are still trapped in Egypt. If you reject autocratic alignment, you are willingly signing a lease to live as a tenant in your own life. You are begging a committee for permission to breathe, stalling the generational wealth and destiny your entire lineage has been waiting for. And if you avoid structural amputation because the knife hurts, hear me clearly. You are not being loyal. You are being codependent. You are letting the decay of dead weight slowly poison the living organs of your legacy until the entire structure collapses under your watch. You cannot fund a sanctuary while simultaneously building your own prison. You are either stepping into absolute spiritual wealth today, or you are choosing to die a gilded slave. The choice is yours. We are breaking the molds, legacy visionaries. We are tearing down the high places. This week, as you step off this porch and back into the geography of your daily lives, I plead with your mind to stand at attention. Don't yield your territory to the automated chaos of a dying world. You are an heir to an eternal estate, and the blueprint of your divine design has already been etched into your neural pathways and your sovereign soul. Insulate your atmosphere. Align your governance. Amputate the decay. Now, before you leave the porch tonight, we need to pause right here for a literal soul seat moment. I need you to pull your mind completely away from the screen. Look inside your own internal command center and ask yourself the hard, sobering question. Where is the structural pressure hitting you the hardest right now? Is it the toxic noise of the public square draining your insulation? Is it the terrifying fear of dismissing the committee to align with God? Or is it the raw, bleeding pain of executing the clean cut on what is decaying around you? I'm not asking you to expose your deepest secrets in a public comment if you are not ready, but I am asking you to raise your hand. To measure the foundations of this room, I've posted a vital, completely anonymous poll right on our YouTube community tab. So, right after the video, click over to that tab and cast your vote. Look at the percentages, look at the numbers, and realize you are standing in an unshakable covenant community of visionaries who are rebuilding their thoughts right alongside you. You are not alone in the press. So go build, go protect, and go conquer. The porch is secure, your legacy is officially active, and may you see yourself through the eyes of the sovereign architect who created you today, because you are truly the jewels of life. Goodbye, everybody.